1975 wasn't just another year. It was a pivotal moment in music, a collision of sounds. Forget the glossy memories. We're unearthing some truths about the songs that topped the charts, the stories you weren't told, and you might find a few surprises. We'll kick off with a cover that many argue surpassed the original, Elton John's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. By 75, Elton, born Reginald Dwight, was a seasoned pro, having started with Bluesology in 1962. Tackling a Beatles classic, especially one so debated lyrically, was audacious. John Lennon even played on it as Dr. Winston O'Boogie, giving it undeniable cachet. Consider Elton, who later faced his own public struggles, reinterpreting a song perpetually tied to LSD rumors. It was a bold, perhaps knowing nod to the flamboyant persona he was cultivating, one that didn't sit well with all rock purists who preferred his ballads. What's often overlooked is the direct link between the song's success and John Lennon's final major concert. Lennon had promised Elton he'd appear on stage if their collaboration, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, hit number one. It did. In November of 1974, Lennon joined Elton at Madison Square Garden. Shortly after, Elton released Lucy, making it both a tribute and a symbolic passing of a pop-rock torch, with Lennon's involvement turning a cover into a significant musical event. Then there was Barry Manilow with Mandy. Before becoming the ballad king, Barry Allen Pincus got on board westbound, was a jingle maestro for brands like State Farm and Pepsi, and Bette Midler's arranger in the early 70s. Mandy was his breakthrough. Now, this song was originally Brandy, a UK hit for Scott English. While covers are standard, some felt Manilow's intense emotional delivery was almost over the top, and rock purists often derided his style as overly sentimental, too Vegas for an era leaning into grit. For years, persistent speculation about his private life also created a subtle tension against the romanticism of his hits. Here's a detail about Mandy. Legendary record executive Clive Davis urged Barry to record Brandy. Manilow was hesitant, seeing himself as a songwriter eager to promote his own material, not just perform others. He changed the title to Mandy to avoid confusion with Looking Glass's 1972 hit, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl. Imagine the pressure from Davis, leading to a reluctant recording that ultimately launched his superstar career. It's a classic music industry tale. And who could forget the Carpenters' Please Mr. Postman? Richard and Karen Carpenter, formed in 1969, were A&M Records' darlings. Covering a Motown classic by the Marvelettes, also famously reinterpreted by the Beatles, was a bold choice. Many critics, and perhaps some of you out there, found their version too polished, too vanilla, stripping the original's raw soul. This fed the common critique of their clean-cut image during a rebellious musical era. Behind that facade, Karen's battle with anorexia nervosa, largely hidden back then, cast a tragic light on their wholesome image. A subtle, clever touch in their Please Mr. Postman often goes unnoticed. Tony Peluso's guitar solo. He intentionally made it sound like a slightly out-of-tune radio searching for a clear signal. This wasn't a typical solo. It was a creative flourish within their smooth pop arrangement, giving their version a unique character that distinguished it from the more straightforward rock or R&B renditions, hinting at a musical sophistication sometimes overlooked. All right, we've just begun to peel back the layers of 1975. So, what are your gut reactions to these versions? Did Elton outshine the Beatles? Was Mandy a masterpiece or pure melodrama? And did the Carpenters nail Postman? Unleash your uncensored opinions in the comments, and if these tunes spark some strong memories, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives, and share this with someone who actually lived it. Next, we have Neil Sedaka's Laughter in the Rain. This marked a huge comeback. A teen idol in the late 50s from the Brill Building School, the British invasion had sidelined him in America. His mid-70s resurgence, particularly with this track, was significantly boosted by Elton John, signing him to the Rocket Record Company. Some might say this comeback, with its softer adult contemporary vibe, was a calculated departure from his rock and roll roots. There is also the debate whether an artist of Sedaka's prior fame needed Elton's machine to return to the top comments on artistic merit versus industry power. Here's something that adds a distinct shade to Laughter in the Rain. Co-written with Phil Cody, the song's inspiration wasn't purely romantic. Sedaka mentioned the idea came to him at his Catskills home when it started raining while he was, as he put it, under the influence of marijuana. This often omitted detail grounds the song's gentle, wistful quality in a very specific, somewhat countercultural moment for its time, despite its broad mainstream success. The memorable sax solo was by session ace Jim Horn. Then the Ohio Players ignited the charts with fire. Formed in Dayton, Ohio in 1959 as the Ohio Untouchables, they evolved considerably before their 70s funk dominance. You can't discuss the Ohio Players without mentioning their album covers, notoriously risque, featuring provocative images of women. While attention-grabbing, they drew heavy criticism for being sexist, even by 70s standards, sometimes overshadowing their stellar musicianship. The raw, suggestive energy of Fire itself was a far cry from polished soul. It was primal, gritty, and overly sexual. A fascinating piece of Ohio Players' history is their deep R&B apprenticeship. Before funk stardom, key members backed the Falcons, an R&B group that included talents like Wilson Pickett and Eddie Floyd. This early grounding undoubtedly shaped their innovative funk style, and that unmistakable siren and fire? Not a real one, but a synthesizer, skillfully played by keyboardist Walter Juni Morrison, adding to the track's urgent, groundbreaking sound. And then came Linda Ronstadt with her definitive take on You're No Good. Linda began in the mid-60s with folk rockers The Stone Ponies before her solo career took off. You're No Good was a major hit for her, but it wasn't new. Dee Dee Warwick recorded it first in 1963, followed by Betty Everett. While Ronstadt's version became iconic, it's part of the recurring, often contentious music history narrative of white artists achieving huge success with songs originated by black performers. Ronstadt, always outspoken, never shied from diverse musical choices that confounded those trying to pigeonhole her. The architect of Linda Ronstadt's powerful sound on You're No Good was multi-instrumentalist Andrew Gold. A key member of her band, Gold played nearly every instrument on the track: guitars, bass, keyboards, percussion, and he also arranged it. His immense talent was crucial in defining Ronstadt's sound during her rise in the mid-70s, giving her records a rock edge that perfectly matched her extraordinary vocals. We're halfway through our 1975 chart topper review. Are these facts stirring memories or maybe shifting some old perspectives? What was your definitive track from 1975? Don't be shy, tell us in the comments. If you're finding this journey through music's hidden histories engaging, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss what's next, and share it with friends who appreciate the real stories. Now, let's discuss a band that truly broke barriers. The average white band with Pick Up the Pieces. Hailing from Scotland and formed in 1972, they delivered some of the era's funkiest instrumental grooves. Their name itself was a bit of a provocation, wasn't it? A group of white musicians playing authentic American R&B and funk with such skill it often stunned audiences unfamiliar with their origins. Tragedy struck as they were gaining global fame. Original drummer Robbie McIntosh died of a heroin overdose in late 1974, a grim reminder of the era's darker side. A noteworthy detail about Pick Up the Pieces is that its iconic saxophone riff by Malcolm Molly Duncan and Roger Ball was so soulful it was often mistaken for Maceo Parker, James Brown's famed saxophonist, a comparison the band cherished. The track is almost entirely instrumental, a bold move for a chart-topping single, proving that an irresistible groove and killer horn lines can captivate millions, transcending the need for lyrics. The Eagles soared to their first number one with Best of My Love.
Steering slowly.
Formed in LA in 1971, initially backing Linda Ronstadt, they were rocketing towards global stardom. However, Best of My Love, a slow country rock ballad, almost didn't become a single. Asylum Records was especially reluctant, deeming it too downbeat for radio. The band, especially Don Henley and Glenn Frey, fought for its release. This early conflict hinted at the internal power struggles and creative differences, particularly between Henley and Frey, that would define the band and later contribute to their breakup. The song's creation involved transatlantic melancholy. J.D. Souther, a key Eagles associate, had an unfinished song called Best of My Love. Henley and Frey, working in London and feeling homesick, merged their ideas with Souther's, with Souther notably contributing to the bridge. To the band's fury, their label edited the song for its single release without their approval, shortening it to be more radio-friendly, a common industry practice that often angered artists who felt their artistic vision had been compromised. Then came Olivia Newton-John with the smooth sounds of Have You Never Been Mellow? Born in England, but raised in Australia, she was already a global pop sensation. This gentle ballad topped pop and adult contemporary charts and significantly made waves in country music. This crossover success, following other country-flavored hits, led to her controversial 1974 CMA Female Vocalist of the Year award. Nashville traditionalists like George Jones and Tammy Wynette were vocal in their disapproval, feeling pop artists were invading their genre, even leading to the formation of the protest group ACE, Association of Country Entertainers. The title phrase, Have You Never Been Mellow, reportedly came from a casual remark John Farrar, Olivia's longtime producer and songwriter, overheard. Someone used it to describe an extremely laid-back person, saying they were so mellow, they're almost horizontal. Farrar, the architect of Olivia's signature sound, seized on this everyday phrase, transforming it into the lyrical heart of a song that resonated with millions worldwide, showcasing how simple observations can spark massive hits. And finally, we land on Blackwater by the Doobie Brothers. Formed in San Jose, California around 1970, they had a distinctive rock and country boogie style. Blackwater was another unexpected chart topper, originally the B-side to Another Park, Another Sunday. When the A-side faltered, a Roanoke, Virginia radio station, WXLO, started playing Blackwater, partly due to its local lyrical references, Mississippi Moon. It caught fire nationally. The band's name, Doobie Brothers, a slang term for marijuana, was undeniably of its era, reflecting a certain counterculture sensibility. The most memorable part of Blackwater is arguably its a cappella breakdown. I'd like to hear some funky Dixieland. This unique segment was a spontaneous studio edition. Patrick Simmons, the guitarist who wrote and sang lead on Blackwater, his first number one composition for the band, drew inspiration from daydreaming about a Mississippi steamboat trip, an experience he hadn't actually had at the time. It's a fine example of how vivid imagination can fuel a timeless song. And that's our deeper dive into some of 1975's number one songs. It was a year of shifting sounds, surprise hits, and artists pushing boundaries, sometimes uncomfortably. So, what are your lasting memories of these tracks? Did they define your year, or did other songs hold more significance? Share your thoughts and memories, the good, the bad, the controversial, in the comments. We value your input. If this journey resonated, please like and subscribe for more musical explorations, and share with friends who remember these tunes firsthand. Until next time.